I had just transmigrated into a book as a Cannon-Fodder male supporting character. My sword spirit suddenly turned its blade around and pointed it straight at my glabella. Lin Che. You're not worthy of being my master at all. In this world, only the child of destiny is worthy of possessing me. If you know what's good for you, then take the initiative and dissolve our master-servant contract. The child of destiny, my junior brother, shouted his threat. Senior brother, if you don't agree, then the day of the sect tournament will be the day you die. The original owner's fiancé also hurriedly jumped out. Lin Chi, it's your honor that junior brother has taken a liking to your sword. Don't be so ungrateful! Ha 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 ha. You really think some pathetic coward? I directly used the power of the contract to erase the sword spirit. Next, I tell, be you two adulterers. Wash your necks clean and wait for death at the #1 immortal sect on the Yunnan continent, atop Piao Miao Peak. I looked at the group of people in ancient robes before me and felt a little dazed. A handsome young man in snow-white robes stepped forward. Senior brother, Tere's only 1 week left until the sect tournament. Anyway, you're already the strongest of our generation, so it won't matter, even if you don't use the Blazing Fire Holy Sword. So why not give the Blazing Fire Holy Sword to me? At that moment, I still hadn't fully reacted. Seeing my silence, the white-robed youth's expression grew uglier and uglier. Suddenly, the sword at my waist flew out of its sheath on its own and transformed into a girl in red. She held a longsword and pressed it directly against my glabella. Lin Chi, you're not worthy of being my master at all. In this world, only the child of destiny is worthy of possessing me. If you know what's good for you, then take the initiative and dissolve our master-servant contract. The familiar scene and the familiar lines made me suddenly realize it. I transmigrated into a book, and it was the Cannon-Fodder male supporting character from the Xianxia novel I had just finished reading. In the original story, Lin Chi didn't hesitate at all. He gave the Blazing Fire Holy Sword to his junior brother. He even agreed to his beautiful master's request to deliberately lose to him during the sect tournament. But his junior brother didn't follow the script at all. He launched a sneak attack on the original owner. He drove the Blazing Fire Holy Sword into the original owner's Dantian and beat him into a severely injured state. On the verge of death, not only did the beautiful master and his fiancée fail to save him, they personally dug out his supreme bone and top-grade heavenly spirit root and gave them to the junior brother. The original owner died full of hatred. Meanwhile, the junior brother used the supreme bone and top-grade heavenly spirit root to soar into the sky and shine brilliantly in the cultivation world. He trampled every genius beneath his feet, and in the end proved his Tao and became an emperor. Seeing that I still hadn't answered, a trace of anger flashed in my junior brother's eyes. Senior brother, since the sword spirit doesn't acknowledge you, why are you still clinging to it? The Blazing Fire Holy Sword let out waves of sword hums, expressing her dissatisfaction. Ye Xuan, my junior brother, looked even more smug when he saw that. I gave a cold snort. The Blazing Fire Holy Sword has stayed by my side for more than 10 years. I spent countless spirit stones nurturing her and never mistreated her once. And now, she dares to dream of killing her master. If Shez, this ungrateful, what use is there in keeping her? I shouted. Kneel! I activated the power of the contract and directly suppressed the sword spirit. With a bang, the redrobed sword spirit dropped straight to her knees. Ding! Congratulations, host, on successfully activating the Hatred Value Exchange Cultivation System. Beginner Gift Pack awarded. Cultivation Realm +1. Human Emperor Banner +1. Host Supreme Bone has evolved into a Chaos Supreme Bone. Top grade Heavenly Spirit Root has evolved into a Heavenly Tao Spirit Root. I was delighted. The system had finally arrived. The original owner had originally been at the mid-stage Nascent Soul realm. Now, he had directly advanced to the mid-stage Divine Transformation realm. Holy shit! This speed is like riding a rocket. Looks like being a person really can't be too spineless. The redrobed sword spirit was filled with humiliation and screamed madly. Ah, damn it! You dare make me kneel! I'm going to kill you! Yi Xuan's face turned ashen, and the way he looked at me made it seem like he wanted to slice me into 1,000 pieces. Yay. Xuan Hatred Value +300. Senior brother, if you don't want to give it to me, then Fine. But how can you take your anger out on the sword spirit? You're so narrow-minded. How are you worthy of being our senior brother? The junior brothers and junior sisters behind Yixuan all revealed looks of disdain. Oh, really? So he was just going to stand on the moral high ground and accuse me? Haha, for this hatred value. I'd better have some fun playing with him. I looked at him with a half-smile. Junior brother. The sword spirit had already acknowledged a master long ago and entered into a master-servant contract. In the cultivation world, if a sword spirit tries to kill its master, how do you think it should be punished? As soon as those words came out, everyone's expressions changed. The sword spirit's face turned deathly pale, and her whole body trembled. In the cultivation world, it was a major taboo for an artifact spirit to kill its master. It would definitely be exterminated. After all, no one would joke around with their own life. Everyone had personally witnessed the scene just now, where the sword spirit controlled the sword and pressed it against my forehead. I continued. Some time ago, junior brother went into a secret realm for training. Worried about your safety, I kindly lent you the blazing fire, holy sword for protection. Who would have thought that today the sword spirit would try to kill her master? The timing is just too perfect. It's hard not to think more about it. Those junior brothers and junior sisters immediately began discussing it loudly. Yeah, the sword spirit stayed with senior brother for more than 10 years. How could she suddenly try to kill her master? Exactly. The sword spirit is simple-minded. Could it be that junior brother Yi used some shameful method to bewitch her, and senior brother clearly doesn't want to give away the holy sword? Is it really okay for junior brother to force him like this? Yay. Xuan hatred value plus 300. Yay. Xuan hatred value plus 300. Yay. Xuan's face turned green. He looked aggrieved and furious, as if he had suffered some enormous injustice. Senior brother, since the sword spirit doesn't want to stay by your side anymore, you can't force these things. Why make things difficult? Now that's really twisting the truth. Just then, the original owner's fiancé, Chu Yun-si, hurried over. Without another word, she stood in front of Yixuan. Lin Che, junior brother likes your sword, so just give it to him. You couldn't keep the sword spirit's heart, and now you're blaming junior brother here. You're really something. In the original story, junior sister Chu Yun-si had been severely injured while exploring a secret realm. She had nearly died. It was the original owner who risked his life to save her. After that, in order to repay him, Chu Yun-si kept coming to the original owner's Piao Miao Peak every few days. As time passed, feelings developed between them, and they got engaged. But after the junior brother arrived, Chu Yun-si's attitude grew colder and colder. The original owner had poured his heart out for his fiancée. Almost all of the Chu family's cultivation resources had been provided by his family. And yet, she had long since hooked up with the junior brother. In the end, the original owner's fiancé had even personally dug out his spirit root and given it to the junior brother. The junior brother immediately put on a pitiful expression. Senior sister, it's all my fault. Senior brother doesn't want to give me the holy sword, and I don't blame him. Just not worthy. Chu Yong's eyes were full of heartache. She pulled the junior brother into her arms. Junior brother, you're just too kind. Then she glared viciously at me. Ordering you, let go of the sword spirit right now and give her to junior brother. Otherwise, don't expect me to forgive you as a man. You're this petty. Lin Chi, you really disappoint me. I raised an eyebrow and said flatly, Chu Yun-si, if I remember correctly, you're my fiancé, Lin Che's fiancé. Yet, here you are, defending another man in public. What exactly is this supposed to mean? Chu Yun-si's eyes filled with panic, and she quickly pushed the junior brother away. Chu Yun-si, hatred value plus 300. Yeah, Xuan hatred value plus 300. The junior brothers and junior sisters watching nearby all looked at Chu Yun-si and Yi Xuan with strange expressions. Chu Yun-si, according to your logic, if junior brother ended up liking you, should I also hand you over to him? Or have you two adulterers already been fooling around together for a long time? Seeing how fiercely Chu Yun-si protected the junior brother, no one believed there was nothing between them. They all started pointing and whispering. Chu Yong's face turned deathly pale in an instant. She had never imagined that the senior brother, who usually didn't even dare raise his voice at her, would speak so sharply today. Behind her, Yi Xuan's pupils shrank. Spiritual power surged at his fingertips, but Chu Yun-si secretly tugged at his sleeve. And only then did he forcibly suppress his killing intent. Chu Yun-si, hatred value plus 300. Yi Xuan, hatred value plus 300. I was delighted inside. I hadn't expected hatred value to be this easy to farm. Just moving my lips a little, and I was racking it up so fast. Lin Che. Don't talk nonsense. Chu Yunxi's voice trembled. Ye Xuan and I only share fellow discipleship. We're completely innocent. I never thought your mind would be this filthy. The child of destiny junior brother became angry out of embarrassment. He finally stopped pretending and jumped out to threaten me loudly. Senior brother, if you don't agree, then the day of the sect tournament will be the day you die. I sneered. Fine. Then, when the time comes, I'd like to see just how capable this child of destiny really is. My patience was gradually wearing out, so I directly used the power of the contract to forcibly erase the sword spirit. No! The sword spirit let out a terrified scream and then completely dissipated between heaven and earth. After losing its sword spirit, the blazing fire holy sword clanged onto the ground and turned into nothing more than an ordinary famous sword. Yi Xuan had never imagined that the usually refined and gentle senior brother would suddenly kill the sword spirit. Chu Yun-si, hatred value plus 300. Yi Xuan, hatred value plus 300. The next second, he suddenly drew his sword and pointed it at me as he shouted in anger. Senior brother, you actually killed the sword spirit in public. I never thought your heart could be this vicious. I looked at him teasingly. Junior brother, I killed my own sword spirit. What does that have to do with you? Or are you saying that the sword spirit really was bewitched by you into killing her master? The hand holding Yi Xuan's sword bulged with veins. But in the end, he still didn't dare strike at me. He wasn't in the right to begin with. If he made a move, it would only confirm that he had bewitched the sword spirit. Besides, the sect strictly forbade fellow disciples from killing one another. His expression changed again and again, and in the end, he could only leave behind a threat. Good, good, good. Since that's the case, then 1 week from now, at the sect tournament, senior brother, don't blame me for showing no mercy. After saying that, he flicked his sleeve and left in fury. I wasn't in any hurry to deal with him. For a self-important genius like him, of course, it would feel best to slap his face in public at the sect tournament. The other junior brothers and junior sisters also left. Only Chu Yun-si stayed behind. A sneer curved at the corners of her lips, but her voice was as coy as ever. Senior brother, I was thinking of you just now too. You're the senior brother. If you had a dispute with junior brother, it would damage your dignity in the end. Don't misunderstand your junior sister. Oh, really? I said non-committally. A chill flashed through Chu Yunxi's eyes. She came over, grabbed my arm, and said coquettishly, Senior brother, you haven't been to my home in a long time. My parents mention you all the time. Since we both happen to be free today, why don't you come back with me and visit them? I immediately guessed what Chu Yunxi was up to. Just now, I had humiliated her beloved junior brother in public. There was no way she felt good about that. She wanted to vent Yi Xuan's anger. The Yunlan immortal sect forbade disciples from fighting each other. But once I left the sect, things would be different. And as long as I got to the Chu family with their divine transformation, realm ancestor in residence, wouldn't I just be at the mercy of the Chu family? The Chu family might not dare kill me, but humiliating me to vent some anger would be unavoidable. The original owner had already swallowed plenty of that humiliation before. Or maybe they deadlock me up for a while and make me miss the sect tournament. Then her beloved junior brother could naturally win without pressure and seize the position of Holy Son. And in the original story, under Yi Xuan and Chu Yunxi's leadership, the Chu family had leaped into becoming a top clan on the Yunlan continent. The first thing they did was exterminate the original owner's entire Lin family. More than 800 members of the Lin family, from top to bottom. Not a single one spared. Every one of them died without even a burial place. It could be said that not a single person in the Chu family was innocent. Thinking of that. I gladly agreed to go. On the way, I sensed that Chu Yunxi was using a secret method to transmit a message to the Chu family. I pretended not to know and didn't expose her. After more than half a day, we arrived at the Chu family. Inside the Chu family's main hall, the Chu family head, Chu Yan, along with several elders, had already been waiting for a long time. Chu Yan warmly said, "Lin Che, you're here. Hurry and sit. It's been so long since we last met. Worthy nephew, your cultivation is even more unfathomable now." I coldly swept my gaze over everyone present. The original owner had done everything in his power to help the Chu family, sending out massive amounts of cultivation resources. And, in the end, what he got back was endless humiliation and betrayal. It ultimately led to the destruction of the Lin family. Seeing that I didn't respond, Chu Yan frowned unhappily and forcibly suppressed his anger. Just then, a maid came over, carrying tea. "Young Master Lin, please have some tea." I looked up at the maid. Though her expression was calm, her hand was trembling slightly. Everyone in the Chu family was looking over here. I gave an evil smile. "Why are you all staring at me? Don't tell me this tea is poison." As soon as I said that, everyone's expressions changed sharply. The maid was so shocked that her hand shook, and, with a bang, the teacup fell to the ground. A strand of black smoke rose up without the slightest hesitation. I slapped my palm toward the top of the maid's head. Her whole body exploded. I directly blew her into a cloud of blood mist with one palm strike. Chu Yunxi, hatred value plus 300. I froze slightly. Aside from Chu Yunxi, no one else's hatred value appeared. Looks like this system had limits too. If the relationship wasn't close enough, then hatred value couldn't be farmed from that person. Thinking about it, that made sense. Otherwise, if I went around slaughtering innocents and torturing a whole bunch of people every day, then wouldn't I become invincible in no time? Everyone in the Chu family was dumbfounded. The hall fell into dead silence. No one had expected me to suddenly start killing. With a smack, Chu Yan shattered the table beside him with one palm and shouted coldly, "Lin Che, you've got some nerve. You actually killed someone in my Chu family for no reason. How is this any different from the demonic path today? Don't think you'll walk out of my Chu family safe and sound." Everyone in the Chu family activated their spiritual power, ready to attack at any time. Chu Yunxi's face was covered in frost, and her right hand pressed down on her sword hilt. "Senior brother, I kindly invited you to my home as a guest, but you're this insane and vicious." I burst out laughing. "You invited me here as a guest just to poison me. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being ruthless." As soon as I finished speaking, the spiritual energy in my body suddenly exploded and instantly covered the entire Chu family. Chu Yan immediately sensed that something was wrong and had just been about to warn the clan members to attack. But the moment he opened his mouth, I seized him by the throat and smashed the top of his head with one palm. Everything happened in a flash. No one had time to react. Chu Yunxi let out a heartrending scream. "Father." Chu Yunxi, hatred value plus 300. Chu Yunxi, hatred value plus 300. Chu Yunxi, hatred value plus 300. She sprang to her feet with a whoosh, drew her sword at me, and her eyes turned blood red. "Lin Che, you actually dared kill my father," I said. "Seriously, junior sister, I know you can't accept it, but your father was too insensible. I kindly came here as a guest. And first, he had someone poison me. Then, he threatened me afterward. I only wanted to teach him a little lesson. I just didn't expect him to be so fragile that he died from one touch. You can't really blame me for that, right?" Chu Yunxi trembled with rage, wishing she could reduce me to ashes. The others didn't dare move rashly either. Chu Yan was a nascent soul realm expert, yet I had killed him in one move. Chu Yan's younger brother, Chu Xiao, glared so hard his eyes nearly split apart, then roared, "This kid is strange. Everyone, attack together and avenge the family head." Boom! Powerful spiritual energy instantly erupted in the area. The Chu family's protective grand formation activated, and golden light immediately formed a barrier over the place. That suited me perfectly, the outside world would be unable to detect any information from inside the Chu family. More than 100 Chu family experts surrounded me. The powerful spiritual energy blasted away the main residence hall, reducing it to ruins in moments. 9 of Chu Yunxi's uncles from the same clan drew their swords at once and formed the 9 Heaven Sword formation as they charged at me. The other experts immediately summoned their natal treasures and guarded the perimeter to prevent me from escaping. But faced with such a scene, I wasn't afraid at all. Instead, I laughed wildly. Ha 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 ha. Your Chu family is just a third-rate clan. You only grew this far because of support from my Lin family. And yet, you still want me dead. You ungrateful bastards! With the hearts of wolves and dogs, today, I, Lin Che, will carry out justice on behalf of heaven. The Chu family's 9 immortal sword formation enveloped me. Countless sword energies formed a sword net and shredded toward me. At that moment, I was like a god or demon descending into the world. My black hair danced wildly without wind, and 2 beams of golden light shot from my eyes. In an instant, I struck out with more than 100 golden palm imprints, and violent energy rampaged between heaven and earth. The countless sword energies collapsed the moment they touched the golden palm imprints. P-F-F-T. 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 In just one exchange, the 9 Chu family experts exploded into clumps of blood mist and were instantly killed. A thick smell of blood spread through the air. The younger generation of the Chu family was completely stunned. All 9 of them were nascent soul realm experts. In an ordinary sect, any one of them would be elder level. With the 9 of them joining forces, they could even kill a cultivator in the early divine transformation realm. So how could they all die in a single clash? What cultivation level did Lin Chi actually have? Chu Yunxi, hatred value plus 500. Chu Yunxi, hatred value plus 500. Chu Yunxi, hatred value plus 500. Everyone in the Chu family was terrified, feeling disaster looming over them. Chu Yunxi collapsed to the ground and stared at me in fear. She truly couldn't understand how the always gentle senior brother had suddenly become so cruel and bloodthirsty. And his strength was actually this terrifying. At that moment, in the Chu family's back mountain, the ancestor in closed-door death seclusion suddenly opened his eyes. It seemed he had sensed something, and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. Damn it! Who dared slaughter my Chu family bloodline? As soon as he finished speaking, his figure disappeared instantly. When he appeared again, he was already flying above the Chu family. The Chu family hall had already turned into ruins, with blood mist filling the air. A young man stood in the middle, waving a black banner as he refined the souls of the Chu family experts. The Chu family ancestor, Chu Lai, nearly bit his teeth apart. You ignorant brat! How dare you come to my Chu family and slaughter innocents? When the younger generation of the Chu family saw the ancestor in the air, they nearly burst into tears. Ancestor, you've finally come. Hurry and kill Lin Che, that beast, and avenge our Chu family. Tears streamed down Chu Yunxi's face as she knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing. Great grandfather, my uncles, elders, and father are all dead. You have to uphold justice for us. I looked up and immediately discerned the ancestor's cultivation. Mid-stage divine transformation realm. Actually, by now, I could have already spent hatred value to raise my strength, but I had no such plan for the moment. I was currently at the mid-stage divine transformation realm and possessed a heavenly Tao spirit root and a chaos supreme bone. Forget Chu Lai being at the mid-stage divine transformation realm. Even if he were at the early tribulation realm, I would still dare fight him. He didn't move right away either. Apparently, he was also probing my realm. I suppressed my cultivation a little and only released the aura of the early divine transformation realm. The Chu family ancestor instantly regained his confidence. Looking down at me from above, he said arrogantly, "You little beast! What nerve! You're only in the early divine transformation realm, yet you dare cause trouble in my Chu family." But considering the old ties between your Lin family and our Chu family, if you hand over your Lin family's great void technique, I can consider leaving you an intact corpse. Hearing that, I laughed wickedly. Old beast! At your age, you've really lived like a dog. How about this? Kneel down and kowtow to this young master a few times, and he'll leave you an intact corpse. 2. How about that? Chu Lai was so furious that he laughed instead. Arrogant brat. Killing you would be as easy as turning my hand. I also laughed loudly. Old thief. Killing you would be just as easy for this young master. Chu Lai's eyes were full of contempt. I won't even bother looking down on you. If you've got the ability, then come kill this old man. I looked at him teasingly. Old thief. You really can say such an outrageous request with a straight face. Since that's the case, then I won't be polite. The instant I finished speaking, powerful spiritual energy erupted from my whole body. I immediately activated the Great Void technique, and my figure vanished on the spot. The moment Chu Lai sensed my true cultivation aura, his soul nearly flew out of his body. Damn it! You're not in the early divine transformation realm. The shadow of death instantly wrapped around him, and he cried out in despair. Wait! But before he could finish, I appeared out of thin air directly above his head. A giant golden palm descended and suppressed toward the top of his head. No. Boom! The Chu family ancestor was directly blasted into a cloud of blood mist. The ground caved in, and more than a dozen Chu family houses were ground into ruins by the huge energy storm. The moment his soul flew out, it was sucked straight into the human emperor banner in my hand. Seeing this scene, everyone in the Chu family went blank, their faces full of despair. The ancestor is dead. Lin Che killed him. How is that possible? How did this happen? After a brief shock, everyone in the Chu family instantly fell into total despair. Chu Yun-Si, hatred value, plus 500. Chu Yun-Si, hatred value, plus 500. Chu Yun-Si, hatred value, plus 500. The younger generation of the Chu family looked at me like they were staring at a devil. Their legs went weak one by one, and they didn't even have the courage to flee. The Chu family's sole surviving elder dropped to his knees with a thud and begged loudly. Young Master Lin, our Chu family knows we were wrong. We were ungrateful. We secretly pushed Yun-Si and Yishuan together, and even more so, we should never have poisoned you and repaid kindness with enmity. But now, you've killed so many people in our Chu family. We've already paid a tragic price. Please show mercy and spare the younger generation of our Chu family a path to live. Hearing those words, Chu Yun-Si trembled all over. Only then did she understand. No wonder I had opened a massacre in the Chu family. It was because of this. She had thought her secrecy had been flawless. So, how had I found out? Her regret now was overwhelming, but I only smiled meaningfully. A path to live. Your Chu family only has what it has today because of my Lin family's support. And this is how you repay me. Thinking of the miserable end of the more than 800 members of the Lin family in the original story. Not a single person in the Chu family was innocent. The Chu family elder gritted his teeth and said sorrowfully, what the Chu family did was all the fault of us, elders. It has nothing to do with the younger generation. If young Master Lin still isn't satisfied, I can kill myself in front of you to atone. But please, young Master Lin, show mercy and spare these younger descendants. Leave a spark of incense for my Chu family. The elder of the Chu family knelt before me, his face full of despair, seeing his resolve to die for righteousness. I said, mockingly, my Lin family and your Chu family are already in a fight to the death. If I spare them, wouldn't that just leave future trouble for my Lin family? The Chu family elder turned pale with fright and quickly said, no. I can make them swear that from now on they will absolutely never seek revenge on the Lin family. I chuckled lightly. Is that really so? I'll have to ask them personally. With that, I waved my hand, and more than a dozen young people were instantly sucked over. They all wore different expressions, some fearful, some resentful, some numb. I casually pointed at one of the white-robed young men. Tell me, I killed so many people in your Chu family. If I let you go, will you seek revenge on my Lin family? The white-robed young man trembled all over and quickly knelt as he said, Young Master Lin, please Spare me. You killed them because they deserved it. I definitely won't take revenge. Although the Chu family members all looked awful, they all knew that was probably the best answer possible. Suddenly, I flew into a rage. Your Chu family painstakingly raised you to this day and spent countless efforts on you. Yet, you say they deserve to die. How could I possibly keep an ungrateful person like you alive? With that, I waved the human emperor banner. The white-robed young man immediately exploded into blood mist, and his soul was sucked into the banner. The others in the Chu family were all terrified silly. The way they looked at me was like they were seeing a devil. That was obviously the best answer. So, why was I still dissatisfied? Chu Young-si, hatred value plus 500. Chu Yun-si, hatred value plus 500. The Chu family's only remaining elder's face twitched nonstop as he forcibly endured his rage. I pointed at another young man in black. His expression changed again and again. The one who gave the best answer was already dead, so he could only grit his teeth and say, Lin Chi, you're a devil. My Chu family cannot coexist under the same heaven as you. I'll definitely kill you. I immediately applauded him. Not bad, not bad. At least you've got a little backbone. Way better than those cowards. The young man in black let out a huge breath and clenched his fists. He had guessed right. The people of the Chu family couldn't help but feel delighted. So this was the best answer. But the next second, they fell into despair. I sneered and said, since you personally said you wanted to kill me, then it's not too much for me to kill you now. Right. No. I waved the human emperor banner, and the black-robed youth also exploded into a cloud of blood mist. His soul was sucked into the human emperor banner. The others in the Chu family were all scared, senseless, collapsing to the ground and trembling. The elder could no longer endure it. Pointing at me, he loudly demanded, Lin Chi, you're trampling human life like grass. Veins bulged on the Chu family elder's forehead. Red blood vessels surged in his cloudy eyes, and his bony fingers trembled violently from rage. My face turned cold. Old thing, what gives you the right to question me? As soon as the human emperor banner came out, bang, the Chu family's final elder exploded like fireworks. The elder's soul let out an extremely miserable scream and was rapidly sucked into the human emperor banner. The younger generation of the Chu family completely despaired. Chu Yun-si, hatred value plus 500. Chu Yun-si, hatred value plus 500. Chu Yun-si, hatred value plus 500. Chu Yun-si finally broke down and crawled to my feet like a dog. Senior brother, I know I was wrong. Please stop. Don't kill anymore. Her face was full of terror, tears streaming down nonstop. I really know I was wrong. I shouldn't have hooked up with junior brother behind your back. As long as you spare the rest of the Chu family, I'm willing to do anything. I pinched her delicate chin, lifted her head, pointed at the bloody ruins all around us, and said harshly, Chu Yun-si, look carefully. All these people from your Chu family died because of you. Take a good look. You're the eternal sinner of your Chu family. My words were like thunder exploding beside Chu Youngsis' ears. Her face turned paper white, and she cried out again and again. The younger generation of the Chu family didn't dare vent their hatred on me, but looking at Chu Yun-si, the root cause of all this, they couldn't hold back any longer and started cursing loudly. Chu Yu-si, you're young, Master Lin's fiancé, yet you were sneaking around with another man behind his back. You're a slut. Chu Yung-si, my grandfather, father, and uncles all died because of you. What face do you still have to keep living in this world? Chu Yung-si, this is all because of you. You'll die horribly. Chu Yun-si regretted it so much. Her guts turned green. She cried as she desperately kowtowed to me. Bang, bang, bang. Her forehead was soon a bloody mess of flesh. She crawled over and grabbed at my pant leg. Senior brother, please give me one more chance. Please spare our Chu family. I looked at the crowd and shouted, all of you, offer up a strand of your soul and I can give you a chance to live. Otherwise, I don't need to tell you what your ending will be. The surviving younger members of the Chu family all trembled. If they handed over their souls. It would be the same as placing their lives in my hands. As long as I wished it, a single thought would be enough to make them die and disappear. And if they dared harbor any disloyal thoughts, I would sense it immediately. At this point, they had no other choice. Otherwise, only death awaited them. Thinking of that, everyone knelt down and agreed to hand over a strand of their soul. Then, strands of golden light rose from the tops of their heads and were quickly taken into my human emperor banner. For the next stretch of time, I didn't hurry back to the sect. Instead, I stayed in the Chu family. The reason the Yunlan Immortal sect was the #1 sect on the Yunlan continent was because it had a supreme elder in the late tribulation realm sitting in command. I had to raise my cultivation as soon as possible. Over the course of 1 week, I took pleasure in tormenting Chu Yongxi every single day. I broke her limbs, then reset them. I repeated the process again and again, crazily farming hatred value. Every day, mad screams of agony from Chu Yongxi echoed throughout the entire Chu family. Every day, Chu Yongxi lived in hell itself, tortured until she barely looked human anymore. My realm broke through again and again. It was downright terrifying. Today was the day of the sect tournament. I fed Chu Yongxi a high-grade pill to help her recover from her injuries. When leaving the Chu family, I specifically had her bring 2 dog chains. Chu Yongxi subconsciously asked, "Senior brother, why bring dog chains?" "Of course, they're for your beloved master and junior brother." A wild look of joy actually appeared in Chu Yongxi's eyes. I was stunned for a moment. Right. How could this inhuman torment be something she alone should bear? The Yunlan Immortal sect was the #1 sect on the Yunlan continent. An event as grand as the #1 sect's tournament naturally attracted countless experts from various sects to come watch. By the time Chu Yongxi and I arrived, the place was already packed shoulder to shoulder and full of noise. I heard this. Yeshuan is the child of destiny. Seeing him today, he really is terrifying. I never expected someone his age to have already broken through to the nascent soul realm. Yeah, our Qingyun sect is considered a first-rate sect, too, but our top genius is only at the mid-stage Golden Core realm right now, and Hez, 2 years older than Yi Xuan. This old man has cultivated for 100 years and only barely reached the nascent soul realm. Shameful. Shameful. This child carries great destiny and is a cultivation genius seen only once in 100 years. In the future, hell, definitely prove his Tao and become an immortal. His future is limitless. Standing on the arena stage, Ye Xuan was dressed in white robes. He was handsome, elegant, and had an immortal-like bearing, looking truly extraordinary. Under Yi Xuan's foot was another genius of the Yunlan Immortal sect. That genius' legs were already twisted badly, and he was wailing in pain. Quite a few other disciples had either broken arms or broken legs and were currently receiving treatment. The way they looked at the junior brother was full of venom. Holding a long sword, Yi Xuan looked proudly over the whole arena. Who else dares come up and fight? As soon as he said that, quite a few female disciples covered their mouths and cheered, their eyes sparkling. I slowly walked toward the stage. Suddenly, an incomparably beautiful woman in a white dress blocked my path. Her skin was icy jade, her bones like carved jade, peerless and graceful, like an immortal fairy. It was my beautiful master, Su Wangxing. She frowned slightly and said to me in a low voice, "Lin Che, don't forget what you promised your master. Ye Xuan came from a poor background and has suffered too much. Just give him the position of holy son." Master knew that in the whole sect, I was the only one who could reliably suppress the junior brother. She wanted me to go up and compete, but also deliberately lose to the junior brother. She only wanted me to be the stepping stone beneath the junior brother's feet. As long as I lost to the junior brother, his position as holy son would be truly justified, and no one would dare question it anymore. I grinned and said, "Master, don't worry. Today, I definitely won't disappoint you." Only then did Master nod in satisfaction and step aside, seeing that no one answered him. Yi Xuan became even more arrogant. "If no one comes up to challenge me, then this position of holy son will be mine." The next second, I slowly stepped onto the stage, holding his sword. Ye Xuan laughed loudly and said, "So, It's senior brother. I thought you were hiding. Didn't expect you'd really dare show up. I narrowed my eyes slightly, looking at Yi Xuan's arrogant expression. A meaningful smile curved at the corner of my lips. Junior brother is putting on such a grand show. How could I not come support it? A trace of disdain flashed through Yi Xuan's eyes as he casually swung his long sword. Sword energy carved cold arcs through the air. Senior brother, I advise you to just admit defeat obediently. Otherwise, you'll end up just like them, with broken arms and legs. He glanced at the fellow disciples below the stage who were being treated, his tone full of mockery. Unhurriedly, I untied the sword at my waist and casually tossed it to the ground. That action immediately caused an uproar below the stage. Is this chief disciple of the Yunlan immortal sect looking for death? He actually dares look down on the child of destiny like this. Hess, just putting on an act. In a moment, won't he end up just like those trash, getting his arms and legs broken and trampled underfoot? Senior brother may be strong too, but how could he possibly compare to the child of Destinus, junior brother? Hez, overestimating himself. Seeing this, the smile on Yi Xuan's face grew even wider. What is senior brother directly admitting defeat? I shook my head and slowly said, no, I just think that to deal with you, I don't need a sword. Ye Xuan flew into a rage. You're courting death. Ye Xuan hatred value plus 500. ID only mocked him a few times, and hatred value was already flowing in. This junior brother still got angry just as easily as ever. Right after that, Yi Xuan exploded with a shocking aura, and violent power surged and raged across the stage. He swung the sword in his hand, and immediately more than 100 sword flowers stabbed toward me at high speed. His aura looked frightening, but in reality, it was full of openings. In fact, in the original story, Ye Xuan wasn't any child of destiny at all. That was only an excuse Master had made up, because she favored him. The reason he had broken through to the nascent soul realm so quickly was also because Su Wanqing had spent countless heavenly materials and earthly treasures to force his cultivation upward. Only later, after he seized the original owner's supreme bone and top-grade heavenly spirit root, did he truly transform into a genius of his generation and eventually prove his Tao and become an emperor. I sneered. All flash and no substance. My figure suddenly vanished from the spot. When I reappeared, I was already behind Yi Xuan. Crack, crack. Without the slightest hesitation, I directly crippled all 4 of Yi Xuan's limbs. Yi Xuan let out a pig-slaughtering scream and rolled around on the ground. The whole audience was stunned. No one had expected that in just one clash, the so-called child of destiny would be crippled by me. This Yi Xuan hatred value plus 500. Yi Xuan hatred value plus 500. Ye Xuan hatred value plus 500. Master Su Wanqing appeared on the stage at once. Tears poured down from the junior brother's face. Master, I don't know what I did wrong, but senior brother actually attacked me so viciously. She held Yi Xuan, who was trembling from pain, her heart aching, then turned and stared at me. Lin Qi, how can you be so vicious? You actually dared injure Yi Xuan like this. Su Wanqing hatred value plus 500. Su Wanqing hatred value plus 500. I burst out laughing and pointed at the junior brothers and junior sisters wailing below the stage. Master, look at all those disciples down there with broken arms and legs. Why didn't I see you come up and question that? Ye Xuan is your disciple. Aren't they your disciples too? You say, vicious. Is Yi Xuan not vicious? Then why see Diot? Without even thinking, Su Wanqing said, how can these trash possibly compare to Yi Xuan? Even if you added all of them together, they wouldn't be worth a single hair on Yi Xuan's head. As soon as those words came out, the entire place fell silent. Those injured disciples all widened their eyes and stared at Su Wanqing in disbelief. Some people's eyes instantly turned red. Even the people from the other sects who came to watch were so stunned by that line that they were left scorched inside and out, and their opinion of Su Wanqing dropped drastically. But Su Wanqing didn't think there was anything wrong. She glared viciously at me and said, Lin Che, get over here right now and kneel to apologize to Yi Xuan. I can cripple your cultivation and expel you from the sect. Otherwise, you will definitely die today. Yi Xuan shouted madly. Master, kill him now, hurry! I suddenly threw my head back and laughed, my eyes filled with unspeakable mockery. Master, you're protecting Yi Xuan this much. Could it be that Yi Xuan is your Dao companion? As soon as those words came out, everyone below the stage revealed expressions of sudden realization. I had already defeated Yi Xuan. So, according to the rules, I was the holy son of the Yunlan immortal sect. I was the #1 genius among all the disciples in this world, where the strong were respected. What sect wouldn't treasure someone like that? But when it came to Su Wangxing, not only did she not cherish me, she even threatened to kill me for the sake of a loser like Yi Xuan. Other than protecting her Dao companion, there was no other possible explanation. Su Wangxing hatred value plus 500. Su Wangxing hatred value plus 500. Su Wangxing hatred value plus 500. Su Wangxing became furious from shame and shouted, "Evil disciple, you deserve to die." Her eyes were full of killing intent, and all the cultivation in her body erupted at once. A fierce storm of spiritual energy rampaged across the field, and the entire square trembled slightly. This is bad. Su Wangxing is probably going to kill him. Although Lin Che's talent is outstanding, Su Wangxing is in the great latest stage divine transformation realm. Lin Che is definitely dead. What a pity. A genius of a generation is about to fall just like this. Among the experts from the other sects who came to watch, there were also quite a few divine transformation realm cultivators. But this was, after all, an internal matter of the Yunlan immortal sect. Even if they felt pity, it wasn't convenient for them to interfere. Su Wangxing fiercely struck out with one palm. The vast palm force arrived in an instant, and the whole space shook. Everyone thought I was definitely going to die. Some even hurriedly closed their eyes, unable to bear watching any longer. Yi Xuan's eyes were full of hatred. Ha ha! Die! I let out a disdainful chuckle. Overestimating yourself. I simply raised a hand casually to meet Su Wangxing's palm imprint. Boom! A powerful wave of energy spread in all directions, and some weaker spectators couldn't stand steady and fell to the ground one after another. Just when everyone thought that I would be smashed into minced meat by that one palm, an unbelievable scene appeared. I didn't move an inch. Instead, Su Wangxing's right arm twisted out of shape, and she was flung away at high speed. Bang! She crashed heavily onto the ground, then vomited blood in great mouthfuls, her eyes full of disbelief. For the first time, Yi Xuan felt a strong sense of defeat. Damn it! How is Lin Chi this strong? Su Wangxing hatred value plus 500. Yi Xuan hatred value plus 500. What? How is that possible? What cultivation realm is Lin Chi actually in? The whole audience stood there, dumbstruck. Quite a few people were petrified on the spot. A monstrous wave rose inside Su Wangxing's heart. Evil disciple, you dared injure the sect master. Today, you will definitely die. 7. Divine transformation, realm elders flew into a rage and joined forces to charge at me. Although they didn't approve of Su Wangxing's actions, she was still the sect master and represented the face of the entire sect. No matter how high my talent was, today, they had to kill me. Since every one of you is rushing to die, then come be brothers inside the human emperor banner. Holding the human emperor banner, I shot into the sky. The banner surface crackled loudly. 7 black dragons surged out from the banner. PFFT, PFFT, PFFT. The 7 black dragons instantly shredded the 7 elders into pieces. Their souls were pulled uncontrollably into the human emperor banner. No. The souls of the 7 elders let out miserable screams, but it was completely useless. In a moment, the human emperor banner absorbed them cleanly. All the cultivators watching were once again frozen in place, then instantly exploded into uproar. This Lin Chi is too monstrous, has probably already reached the tribulation realm at such an age. Has Simply the #1 genius in 5,000 years. Unbelievable. With just a raised hand, he wiped out 7 divine transformation realm elders. In any sect, such a monster would be treasured like a jewel. Yet the Yunlan immortal sect actually wanted to kill him outright. Haha, looks like this so-called #1 sect is nothing more than a bunch of blind fools. Seeing the tragic deaths of the 7 elders, Su Wangxing was so furious that she coughed up blood again and again. Then, hearing all the ridicule and mockery around the field, she nearly bit her teeth apart. Damn it! It's all Lin Che's fault. Su Wangxing, hatred value, plus 500. Yi Xuan, hatred value, plus 500. Supreme Elder Murong Kanglin finally could no longer remain seated. Everything had happened too quickly just now. Even he hadn't expected the 7 elders to be killed instantly. In the brief moment, he was stunned. It was already too late, even if he had wanted to save them. He could never have imagined that a mere sect tournament would actually force him to personally make a move against a junior. Suddenly, the winds and clouds above the Yunlan immortal sect changed. Dark clouds gathered for hundreds of li around, and heavenly thunder rumbled. A tribulation realm expert, Supreme Elder Murong Kanglin, came striding through the sky, his aura overwhelming. Everyone present felt a pressure like 100,000 great mountains pressing down on their heads. He shouted furiously at Su Wangxing below the stage. Su Wangxing, look at the good thing you've done. Lin Qi had been such an unparalleled genius, yet this short-sighted woman had forcibly driven him into rebellion. At this moment, he wanted nothing more than to slap Su Wangxing to death. Su Wangxing shot me a venomous glance, then quickly knelt down in fear and kowtowed. Supreme Elder Lin Qi repaid kindness with enmity, killed 7 elders, and acted with cruel methods. He has already fallen into demonic ways. Please, Supreme Elder, take action and kill him! The spectators all couldn't help but feel pity. What a pity. An unmatched genius of a generation is really about to fall. Lin Qi killed 7 elders. He and the Yunlan immortal sect are already in an irreconcilable feud. Even if the Supreme Elder feels heartbroken, hell, still kill him. Although Lin Qi seems to have reached the tribulation realm too, Hess, still too young. Murong Kanglin is the #1 man on the Yunlan continent and has been famous for hundreds of years. Lin Qi can't escape death. Even if the Yunlan immortal sect kills Lin Qi, after today it'll definitely become the laughingstock of the entire continent. Among the cultivators present, some pitied me, while others mocked the sect. Murong Kanglin's face had darkened to the extreme, but the movement of his hands didn't slow in the slightest. Countless bolts of lightning filled the entire sky. Every thread of lightning carried power, as if it could destroy heaven and earth, like heavenly punishment. I felt no fear at all. Instead, I laughed wickedly. Old man, you want to kill me too? Then go die! I didn't run. Instead, I turned into a bolt of lightning and shot straight toward Murong Kanglin. Everyone was stunned. Is Lin Qi looking for death? At a time like this, Hess, not running but taking the initiative to attack. Su Wangxing's face lit up with joy. Lin Qi is definitely dead. Yi Xuan also revealed a wild expression of delight. As long as senior brother died, he would still be the #1 genius of the sect, and the position of Holy Son would still be his. Murong Kanglin was stunned for a moment, then smiled contemptuously. Courting death! Instantly, countless bolts of lightning condensed into form and transformed into a silver divine dragon, thousands of jang long, roaring toward me with power that could destroy everything. I had no doubt that even if a huge mountain were hit by that silver dragon, it would be torn apart, but I showed not the slightest fear and charged directly at it. Everyone thought I had gone mad, and that I would definitely be annihilated. In that instant, golden light blazed all over my body. Boom! The moment the 1,000 jang silver dragon touched me, it turned into countless streaks of silver light and completely dispersed into the air. Yet, I remained completely unharmed. This was the active skill brought by the Chaos Supreme Bone. Invincible, golden body. For 3 seconds, it ignored all attacks. It could only be used once a day. My current cultivation was mid-stage tribulation realm. Murong Kanglin was at the great latest stage tribulation realm, and he had been famous for hundreds of years. If we fought a battle of attrition, I might not necessarily win against him, so I could only catch him off guard and end it quickly. Everyone was stunned, including Murong Kanglin. I didn't hesitate in the slightest and smashed his head apart with one palm. 3 seconds was enough for me to kill him before he died. His eyes were still full of confusion. Murong Kanglin's headless corpse slammed down with a bang and smashed a massive crater into the square. The entire place fell into dead silence. The #1 expert on the continent, a famous senior figure of hundreds of years, had just been instantly killed by a young junior. A supreme elder in the great latest age tribulation realm had actually been slain by a disciple. Countless people couldn't believe it. The scene before them completely overturned everything they thought they knew. They had only come to watch the tournament of the #1 sect, yet they had unexpectedly witnessed the birth of a miracle with their own eyes, witnessed the birth of the greatest monster in all ages. Today's battle would definitely be recorded in the history of the Yunlan continent. Chu Yunxi already knew that I had broken through to the tribulation realm, but even so, the sight of me instantly killing the Supreme Elder still felt unreal to her. At last, she realized just how stupid a mistake she had made. I had originally been her fiancé, yet for the sake of a Yi Xuan, she had ruined the entire Chu family. At this moment, tears streamed down her face, and when she looked at Yi Xuan again, her eyes were filled with endless hatred. Su Wangxing's mind went blank. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. When Ye Xuan saw me walking toward him, he trembled with fear and shouted wildly, "You're a devil. You don't come over. Senior brother, you treated me so well before. You'll definitely forgive me, right?" I was wrong. The original owner really had treated him well. When Yi Xuan had first entered the sect, it was always the original owner who guided his cultivation. Back then, Yi Xuan was very good at pretending to be weak and wrong. Whenever the original owner got something good in a secret realm, the first person he thought of was always his junior brother. He had even lent him the sword he carried close to his body. And what had he gotten in return? I directly kicked out and crippled Yi Xuan's dantian. Then, with another kick, I crushed his 5th limb into a bloody mess. I turned him completely into a cripple. Ye Xuan let out a heart-rending scream. But not a single person in the whole audience pitied him. Yi Xuan hatred value plus 500. Yi Xuan hatred value plus 500. Yi Xuan hatred value plus 500. Su Wangxing finally knew regret and knelt on the ground, begging for mercy again and again. I was wrong. Lin Che. I was really wrong. Lin Che. It was your master's fault. I was just confused for a moment. Master, do you know what my ending would have been today if my strength weren't enough? Su Wangxing's face instantly turned pale, and her whole body trembled as she said nothing. I turned my fingers into a sword and severed Su Wangxing's right arm in one strike. Su Wangxing let out a miserable scream. Blood poured like a spring from the stump, staining her plain white dress red. She collapsed to the ground, pressing hard on the wound with her remaining left hand, as tears mixed with blood ran down her cheeks. Lin Chi. Your master. How can you treat me like this? Su Wangxing hatred value plus 500. Su Wangxing hatred value plus 500. Su Wangxing hatred value plus 500. Master, if my strength weren't enough, were you also planning to dig out my immortal bone and rip out my spirit root to give them to junior brother? Su Wangxing's face filled with panic. How do you know? With another sword strike, I cut off her left hand too, and another scream rang out. You really are such a wonderful master of mine. Back then, when you suffered chi deviation and hung on the brink of death, I resolutely barged into a land of certain death and barely survived to find immortal grass for you and save your life. Yet, this is how you repay me. With the 3rd strike, I severed both her legs. Su Wangxing's face twisted in agony, and her eyes were filled with madness and despair. So, what if I was? You did all that willingly. Your master, yet you dare treat me like this. You evil disciple. You'll die horribly. If you've got the guts, then kill me, you beast who betrays your master and ancestors. I pointed a finger and pierced through her dantian, crippling all that impressive cultivation of hers. You want me to kill you. How could there be something That good. Chu Yun-si, where are the dog chains I told you to bring? Hurry up and use them. Chu Yun-si was full of excitement. Without another word, she put them on Yi Xuan and Su Wanqing. Yi Xuan and Su Wanqing cursed Chu Yun-si viciously, only to be slapped hard several times by her. I watched with great interest as they tore into one another like dogs. Yung-shi, from now on, your task is to torment this pair of bitches. Don't let them live comfortably, but also, don't you dare let them die on me. Chu Yung-si nodded like pounding garlic. Don't worry, senior brother. I absolutely won't disappoint you. Su Wanqing had gone mad and screamed wildly. Lin Che, you evil disciple, you can't treat me like this. You'll die horribly. Su Wanqing hatred value plus 1,000. Yi Xuan hatred value plus 1,000. Later, I became the sect master of the Yunlan Immortal Sect. From that day on, everyone in the sect could see a strange sight. Whenever I had nothing to do, I would lead 2 dogs out for a walk. These 2 dogs were very fierce. They barked and cursed at everyone they saw.